Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today I'm here with first time Nova Pro on the channel, Zereldo. Zereldo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and today you're going to be sharing a pretty crazy deck with us. It has the Giant Skeleton, it has the Goblin Barrel, and it has both of the other goblins too. A lot of goblins in this deck, and it's really strong defensively. You have the Inferno Tower, you have 2 spells, Zap and Poison, and of course Minion Horde. I really want to hop into the replays here because you've gotten a lot of 12 wins with this deck, but before we do that, tell us a little bit about this deck generally speaking, like, you know, how did you come up with it, and how does it work?
This deck, I've used it before when there was a spammy giant meta a while back, and it worked really well because with the Giant Skeleton and the Inferno Tower, they can't stack up very big pushes because they will just get killed by the Giant Skeleton. And now that spam is back, I tried it again and did really well with it.
Yeah, man, you've been having so much success with it. You've been messaging me for, like, you know, since the balance changes pretty much, saying that you keep rattling off these 12-win challenges. So kudos to you for using kind of an off-meta deck. And this is definitely like a really OP counter deck right now, considering that bridge spam is definitely back, and also either Goizen or Golem beatdown is really strong right now. So it really deals with all of that because you have the Giant Skeleton to counter the support troops, and then of course you have the Inferno Tower as well. You have Poison if needed as well. So really strong defensively, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Well, nice, man. I want to go ahead and get right into the replays today because this deck, we talked a little bit about it off air, and you kind of explained that a lot of it is just matchup dependent. So I do want to focus on 3 different matchups today and how to handle those. So let's start with bridge spam, which again is everywhere. This guy, Danny L Pro, was probably the best of the end of the challenge here. So we're gonna start with this replay. Let's go ahead. I'm paused at the beginning. Let me know when you're with me, and then we'll talk about how to deal with this matchup.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play. All right, man. Walk us through it. First off, how do you feel about this starting hand?
It's a good starting hand because I have the Goblin Barrel to put on the tower as well as the Spear Goblin, so I put my barrel on the tower.
So that's obviously a good starting move, just as it normally would be in bait.
Yes. And now for the Ghost, I used my Giant Skeleton because it would survive on offense and turn into a counter push, and blocked his Inferno Dragon using my Minion Horde, which worked out very nicely.
Yeah, now he still has to answer the Giant Skeleton here.
Yeah, Spear Goblins are great for killing leftovers, so I did that.
Okay. So at this point, do you know what deck he's playing yet, or not really?
Yeah, because I faced it a lot, and just the Ghost alone usually it tells it's a pretty spammy deck.
Yeah, oftentimes these people, they just throw the Ghost right at the bridge along with whatever, whether it be a Skeleton Barrel or a Bandit or whatever. So again, you're really proving how good the Giant Skeleton can be here. Your opponent uses a Poison, might have been a mistake there, and now you have a big elixir, or maybe you don't have a big elixir advantage. But either way, where are you at right now? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, he just wasted his Minion Horde counter, which is nice because whatever he throws at me, I can just use my Horde against it. And I just have to keep in mind that I don't want to overspend since he can spam everything at the bridge.
Okay. So against this matchup, you're playing it a little bit more conservatively than you normally would?
Yes, because I've lost games before where I would just like one barrel too aggressively can cost a game against this.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So he starts to go opposite lane, so in this situation, you're just going to defend and not worry so much about the Giant Skeleton? Or no, I stand corrected.
Yeah, the Night Witch wouldn't do much, and I still needed to take his tower, so I rushed with my Horde, and it worked.
Good job. Yeah, you would have got it either way with a Giant Skeleton bomb, but you take care of it there. So now that you're in the lead, let's talk a little bit about playing in the lead with this deck. do you shift your philosophy a little bit? Do you play more defensive? Because let's face it, you have so many defensive weapons.
Yeah, I have very strong defense, and there's no point anymore in going for the second tower. So I just play very safely and don't really plan on taking the second tower.
Yeah, and it works out for you really well here. What do you think the most difficult matchup is for this deck? Is there, yeah, what type of archetype would be the most challenging?
It would be the Hawk Poison deck you featured like a few weeks ago, because they can outcycle my Inferno Tower and then the rest dies to poison. And Log Bait with Inferno can also be challenging because
Okay.
it cycles faster.
Well, I think you have a log bait with Inferno in here, right? I believe, maybe?
Yes, against Leo.
Okay, let's go ahead and watch this one. It was just the first win, but still, it's going to be a valuable lesson, I think, for folks out there watching who want to know how to deal with this deck. Before we do press play on this one, can you talk a little bit about, you had no hog decks in this Grand Challenge run. How do you deal with that hog deck with this deck? Like, what's your game plan defensively, especially?
Well, if it's like the Hog Mega Knight deck, which is a bit more common than the Hog Executioner deck, I try to cycle to my Inferno before they can cycle to their Hog, and also they only have poison for my minion horde, which means I can block their Inferno Dragon against my Giant Skeleton. So the Giant Skeleton is also very important in that matchup.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the bait matchup, and I'm ready when you are, man.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, play. Okay, so again, you have the Goblin Barrel in your starting hand, so you're just going to go ahead and throw that and wait to see what he has. He has Log.
Yeah, I did. I just wanted to know at first what he was playing, and because of the barrel and the log, I knew he was playing log bait, and I didn't have a good cycle at that point, so I had to play my minion horde in the back.
That was an interesting Goblin Barrel placement by your opponent there.
Yeah, I think he was trying to make me miss a log that I don't have.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to fix my cycle at this point because it was quite bad.
When you say fixing your cycle, talk a little bit more about that. You know, how do you fix a cycle?
I don't want to be stuck with Inferno Tower and 2 spells at all. So I use my goblins a little more than I normally would, and I also use my spells a bit more because I don't want to have 3 non-troop cards in my hand.
I gotcha. You're from the Netherlands, you said?
Yeah, I am.
Why is everybody from the Netherlands good?
I have no idea.
Is there? Yeah, they're like feeding you guys elixir in the water or something over there. I don't know. I'm suspicious of you guys. But anyway, back to the match here. Okay, so now you fixed your cycle. So now what is this going to be your big monster push here coming up?
Yeah, because my barrel won't do a lot since he has log and Goblin Gang, and he cycles faster. So I want to block his Inferno Tower and get my Giant Skeleton to the tower.
Okay.
Which I think I did in this push, or the next one. I'm not sure.
Okay. So there it is. You did the poison. You get the minion horde. Everything basically used, and you do get a goblin to the tower, but not the Giant Skeleton. And
No,
then you use the goblin barrel right away.
Yeah, and now he will go quite aggressively and again throw his barrel in a weird position. I only have goblins to counter, so I don't get why he is playing it there. But now he's wasted his princess, so my minion horde is free to go. So here he can't play his Inferno Tower anymore. He missed his knight, and that's game.
It sounds like you are really using the minion horde pretty strategically. So is one of the first things that you're doing in these matchups is identifying like what your opponent has that can kill your minion horde and then keeping track of it?
Yes, because if they have arrows or fireball, I play way differently than when they have poison, because poison doesn't kill them immediately, and arrows or fireball do. So I have to play it differently. I can't
Okay.
rely. I can't rely on minion horde to accomplish anything if they have arrows.
I gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and I want to see the one against the Three Musketeer deck before we let you go. Is that cool?
Yes.
All right, let's press play in 3. It's against Keister. Keister. 3, 2, 1, play. All right, so how do you deal with a Three Musketeer deck?
Try Giant Skeleton in one lane and then Minion Horde in the other. Usually defends everything against Three Musketeers. He also has a P.E.K.K.A, so my Inferno Tower is also quite important here.
Yeah. All right. Let's see how you play it. I noticed that sometimes you throw the Goblin Barrel, especially in the last matchup. You just throw it, even though you know he has the log. Is that just to get it out of cycle, out of rotation?
Yeah, because my goblins and spear goblins are also quite important against this. And I tried to punish his pump using Giant Skeleton and goblins, which didn't really work out. I didn't have my zap in cycle. So I was behind in elixir here, but I turned it around later in the game.
I like this too, and he's saying well played. Maybe a little tongue in cheek there.
Yeah, a little too early.
Yeah,
The game
a
has
little too
just
early.
started.
So he sends in the naked battle ram, probably a bad play on his part, and then you're just gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and.
He spent 9 elixir and I defended with 5. And now I think he misplaced his pump. Yeah, he misplayed it. I can pump, poison both of his pumps.
Yeah, pretty awful misplay on his part there, unfortunately.
Yeah, now we're
So-
equal again in elixir.
So against Three Musketeers, are you waiting till they make the first move and then counterattacking, or because you haven't really done much besides the Goblin Barrel offensively yet?
Yeah, I can't really use my Giant Skeleton before they play their Three Musketeers. But here I had to because he played his P.E.K.K.A. But normally against a normal Three Musketeers deck, I save my Giant Skeleton for the lane where there's 2.
Okay. So you kind of just sacrificed the Giant Skeleton there, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it worked out fine.
Yeah. And then
Um,
I forgot. I didn't even see how you got all that damage on the left tower. How was it?
Leftover minion horde along with spear goblins. And I don't know why he played his musketeers in one lane. I guess he forgot I had poison or I haven't used it before.
Yeah,
But-
this poor dude doesn't seem like he's the best player, unfortunately for him. But
He threw
or maybe he's just losing track.
Yeah, maybe. He threw everything into my Giant Skeleton, which was quite pointless.
Yeah, yeah. And that's basically exactly all you really needed there. So, I mean, I feel like this deck is the key to it is really just being smart offensively and really keeping track of your opponent's spells and their counters. Is that, would you say there's anything more to it in terms of like what's going through your mind in a typical match?
I just need to identify what their counters are to me and how I'm going to win. It's not the same in every game.
Different every game, yeah. Well, hey man, Zereldo, just wanted to thank you again for coming on, man. Any shout outs, anything like that before we let you go?
Hi Connor.
Hi, Connor.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Anything
it.
else? Anything else? Where can we find you in social media? Can people maybe reach out to you if they have any questions on the deck?
Yeah, they can reach out to me on Twitter at Zereldo.
All right, man. Sounds great. Just want to give a quick shout out to my YouTube sponsor of the day, Red. Thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. Really appreciate it. Zereldo, thank you so much for coming on. And a huge shout out to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. You can find his information in the description below. Guys, thanks so much for watching. And as always, take care, guys.